I'm Red Beard the Hippy here with Incognito Theory, based out of New Jersey, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. So, let's see. You guys have some new music that you're getting ready to release here soon, correct?
Yes, brand new single, Let the Fire Burn, will be out January 2nd on Curtin Call Records.
It's like that's a great way to start off a new year.
Yeah, I think so. Bit different from what we usually write, but it's still it's got some Southern kick to it, but it's definitely more doom.
Fair enough. Uh, how would you best describe your music? Because I was kind of listening to a couple of the tracks earlier, just to kind of get. I learned that you have to kind of listen to a little bit to be able to ask the right questions, so you're not.
Yeah, I would say take Black Label and Pantera and have them both crash the party.
Uh, yeah. um,
That's the best way to put it, man. Sabbath, there's a little bit of Sabbath edge in there. You got a little bit of 90s, the grunge era in there, but like Soundgarden grunge.
yeah, but more musically grunge than more so vocals.
Yeah, the vocals are more like Black Label. I would say I think we're more like Black Labelish for the most part.
Yeah, I could agree with that statement because it's always interesting to see how people describe their music and what
Mhm.
bands they choose to like describe because sometimes it's I'll hear one thing and then bring it up and it's like, oh no, we think we sound like this, and it's like, oh okay, that's interesting.
There's a Southern kick in there a little bit.
Yeah.
It has like a little bit of that Southernish, but a lot of people have said that very Black Label society and the attitude and the snarl of like Pantera. So
I'm yeah, can't really disagree with that statement one bit because I was watching your YouTube channel and like from the looks of it, you guys have been around for a little while.
16 years.
Because I was seeing stuff from like 6, 7 years ago, and I'm just like, hang on, let me double check and do some real quick looking, make sure I got the right
Yeah,
YouTube channel.
16 years. Yeah, 16 years we've been around, gone through some crazy lineup changes and stuff like that. And, you know, so,
And
but
now
yeah, no,
the band is legally old enough to drive.
yeah, pretty much. I mean, like I've worked with some special guests and stuff like that. Michael Pont from Symphony X, he did all the bass work on all the stuff for Incognito Theory for the past 16 years. My cousin John is the drummer. He writes all the music. He does all the backing vocals. So all the harmonies that you hear is my cousin John. And then I write all the lyrics, but mainly the music, and music is written by him. Lyrics are written by me. We pretty much handle all that. Um, Dave Crum is one of the original members. Jay Prusak is one of the original members. This record getting ready to come out is pretty much all the original members. Michael Pont from Symphony X, John Moscow on drums, my cousin. Jay Prusak, Dave Crum, mostly Dave Crum for this record. I mean, we're in the middle. We've been in the studio a lot working on that. And just taking some time. We're in the middle of working on the second track for this record that's going to come out. It's going to be called Shot Glass Confessions. So
So it
that'll be
has
the
nothing to
next
do with
track.
drinking, right?
So the next track after Let the Fire Burn will be that, and and then we're going to go from there. It's either going to be an EP or a full length. But we put out Band of Brothers in 2020. Which was the first real full length, and that was with Rage Breed Records overseas with Karina Sear. And then before we released Days of Reckoning with Curtain Call, we released American Rebel, thanks to my good friend Scotty Austin, formerly of Saving Abel. Malcolm Springer, Malcolm Springer produced that, who produced Matchbox 20 and a bunch of other crazy bands, Leonard Skinner, Anita Baker, everything. So Scotty hooked that up, and then I've known John Coons for over 10 years, and with me knowing him and us working with Scott, and him here in American Rebel, thus that's what gave us the contract, and then we released the debut with Curtain Call, which was Days of Reckoning. So that's been doing really well. But now with this record, we're going to take a little bit of a different approach because Incognito Theory is very unique. We never stick to the same. I mean, we do have a formula, but we don't want another record that sounds like Band of Brothers or Days of Reckoning. We want a record that's going to, really stand out there. So this one's going to be it's still going to have the Southern kick. It's still going to have the edgy stuff that you hear in those both records, but it's going to be a bit darker, more doom. You're going to hear some extreme metal, aggressive vocals in Let the Fire Burn. So it's going to be something a little, because I came mainly from extreme metal vocals. I've only been singing clean for like roughly about 15, 16 years. But for 30 years, I've been doing extreme death metal. So.
Ooh. I like some good death metal.
You'll have to check out my stuff coming out in January. I got another thing going. So, but tonight it's all about Incognito
That's its own entity, and we can talk about that one later. But
yes.
I always like seeing, like you were saying, where you want each individual record and each individual thing to have its own sound, because, like, obviously you have the basic formulas,
mm-hmm.
And it also shows like a growth and a maturity in bands when they can try different things and be like, you know what, I've been feeling this way, I don't want to write, extreme death metal. I want to have something where I can have a little more.
This was more substance, more, very. When I put IT together, me and John, my cousin, we were like, you know what, with this record, we want to kind of step out of the box a little bit and bring maybe a little bit more of that 90s flair into it, but still have the Black Sabbath, Black Label Society vibe, mainly like, very sludgy. I know people hate that word, but, very doomy.
No. I'm one of those people when I hear the sludge stuff, it's like I get excited because it's either done really well or really bad.
Yeah. This stuff is very like straightforward. I mean, like, John Moscow, my cousin, is an amazing writer. So I mean, he has his own project too called 60 Miles Down. Give him a little plug. He's the singer for that, and he writes all the music for that. But with this, it just, it came really, really quick. I mean, like right now the thing is that now since we have these two records out, now we're like, we can actually sit back and say, okay, cool. We have the formula. We know what we're doing. Let's really step out of the box and really give something to the fans that will make us even stand out even more. So we thought Let the Fire Burn was like the first attempt to give them still the melodic in the choruses and stuff, but the music itself is a bit darker and, a bit more mystery in disguise, so to speak, because we are Incognito Theory.
Well, that does make sense.
Yeah. The band name is a derivative off my last name because my name is Dave Incognito, and that's how the band name came about. My cousin is Richie Incognito from the Raiders. He used to play for the Dolphins and stuff. So, yeah. So that's, I mean, why the hell would I not want to put a band with my last name on it, right?
Well, and like, it's a cool last name. It's not like Smith Theory or Jones Theory. Yeah. Like, like the more normal names. Like, it's a cool last name.
Thank you. I mean, like, but I was like, hey, you know what? It started out as a solo project when I first put it together in 2009. And I was like, it was going to be Dave Incognito's, experience. But if you really break that down, Nathan, that comes out and spells out to die, D-I-E, Dave Incognito's experience. And I'm like, get in a death metal band. You can't call it die. So I was like, how about Incognito theory of Dave Incognito, the theory of.
Also, you have more of a range, like with the theory thing, is you have more of a range now of what you can write. Where if you want to write about a personal event that happened versus if you want to write about a traumatic experience, or if you've just had an idea that has nothing about what you've ever gone through, and you're just like, I had this idea and I wrote it down and it fits really well with the music, so let's roll with it.
This record is more silent pain, so to speak, which that is also another name for one of the other titles that we're going to be working on.
And
So
that,
this
and
is
that song is all
definitely
about arthritis.
yeah,
The silent pain.
yeah. So I mean, it's just we when me and John go into a room and work on material, we tend to really dive into what we're doing. He usually comes up with a lot of really cool riffs and everything, and then I go in. Sometimes it starts off with melody, but John also mixes and masters the stuff alongside Steve Zing of he plays bass for Danzig and drums for Sam Hain and Morning Noise. So
Like
he
the list of people you're just throwing out there, I'm just like,
yeah. Well, I'm also on this record going to be working once again because when I first formed Incognito Theory, I don't know if he's familiar to you, but I had Lee Richards involved, who worked with Godsmack and Dropbox. He is also going to be doing a special guest solo on one of the tracks for the new record. So this is going to be really, really cool. Like, you know, I can't say what we're going to do about touring or anything right now because we're in the middle of working in the studio and everything like that. If we are definitely going to be doing some touring on it, but not as much. But we are going to be we're going to surprise people. Pretty much, we like staying, I guess you could say, standing in the shadows and kind of like getting people, getting them going and going, what's going to go on with this band? And,
yeah.
we have the slogan always against the grain. And this band is always going to be that. People are either going to like the music or they're not. And if they don't, they can go fuck themselves.
Well, and there's also the thing too. Like I've noticed, like when people get on there and start, oh, you said this or why do you do this? It's like you can hate all you want. Thanks for the view. Thanks for the comment. Thanks
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
bumping up the algorithm. Like I appreciate it.
Gene Simmons said it best. When they're not talking about you, they're still talking about you.
Yeah. I mean, there is a lot of uh, older rock stars that still try to grab that little limelight again because it's faded out for them, but they want to grab that little bit. And
Yeah.
we all know which ones we're talking about because we see them all the time. Because
Of course.
what is it, like Metal Hammer and Loudwire and all those will
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
run like a monthly article on them about they said something in this interview, and now that's
Mhm.
the top thing everybody wants to talk about.
Of course. Of course. But I mean, like, you got to do music because you love it. You can't be
Oh,
doing
yeah.
it if you're looking to, because it's not the same, it's not the way it used to be, and I mean, like, I learned a lot from a lot of my peers, like, Steve Zing, Michael Pont, they're both my mentors, and they've really taught me a lot about the business, and I'm very grateful for both of them. And, to have Michael Pont, be a part of all this has been, he's a scholar and a wonderful person. And I mean, he really brought a lot of light to a lot of these songs. But even when I don't know if you have Let the Fire Burn, I'm sure you do. When you if you don't, let me know and I'll send it to you. Send me your email and Messenger or something, and I will get it to you. Or Brian has it, he can get it to you, and you can have But I mean, I think that this is probably in one of the top 10 of what Incognito Theory has done. Set It Off was like a pinnacle. American Rebel was a pinnacle. Ride On was a pinnacle. Forsaken Me, Breakdown, like those are pinnacles. They've been doing really well on Spotify and all that stuff. But this is going to show a different side of Incognito Theory, but still, at the end of the day, we still smack you in the ass with something heavy.
Well, yeah, and that's the cool thing that I like about bands where they're not gonna try to sugarcoat what they're selling. It's you like us, you hate us. We're in your face. We're gonna, you're gonna get hit with a rift, and then we're gonna go back into the shadows, and you're gonna be standing there going, "What the fuck was it? What
What
did
the
I
hell
just get?"
happened? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Even with our performances, they're never the same. The
I don't.
performances are never the same.
I don't think a performance should. The only performance that should be the same is like a Broadway musical.
Yes. Yeah. Well, there ain't any of that, and there ain't any dragons jumping out the PA with this band, dude. We just get up there and do our thing, and the music tells the story. I mean, like that's what we've been about. about the music. It's not about a look or what we are or whatever. It's like, hey, look, come to a show, come see us and enjoy yourself.
Well, it's kind of like you're not supposed to wear the band T-shirt for the band you're seeing. I'm like, why not?
No.
Like, I'm supporting my
Because
friends.
that's a jinx, bro. That's why you don't wear your own band T-shirt.
Well,
But
I mean, if
my
you're
cousin John likes to wear our band T-shirt because he doesn't give a shit about the jinx. So, you know what I mean?
I mean, I'll run around and I'll wear my friends' T-shirts and hat. Like, obviously, wearing my
Yeah,
buddies because you gotta support the friends.
exactly.
And, well, we'll go in with an interesting one since you guys have been doing this for a while. Oh, let's throw out the fun question of: have you been starstruck and met some of your influences and idols?
My idol, I've been, like I said, been singing 30 years. My idol is Scott Weiland from Stone Temple Pilots, and I met him 4 months before he died. God rest his soul.
Oh, that's
So that was a really cool experience to meet him. You know, I met Nikki Sixx at a book signing. I mean, like, certain things. I mean, like, and it's funny, dude, because like my favorite 80s bands and people would never believe this, dude. And they're like, what? I am a huge, huge Poison fan. And I met Brett many a times. Really, really nice person. My second in command singer, here's something that I'll throw at you, Nathan. You're going to go, what? My second in command is Rob Thomas from Matchbox 20.
that's the
That
funny
guy,
thing.
that guy has a voice that can sing to the birds, man. And he
Oh
is
yeah.
amazing. And
Well, and both and like
I'm not ashamed
Poison's.
of that, dude. Just because I play heavy shit doesn't. I mean, I'm very worldly. Like I listen to everything, man. I even
Uh,
like Pit, man. I don't give a shit. People, I'm a musician, man. You're supposed to respect everybody. I may pick on a lot. I may pick on certain styles out there, but I still will respect them. You
well,
got a good voice.
that's kind of like when people will give Taylor Swift a bunch of shit, and it's like, you know what?
Mhm.
I may not like her music, but I will respect the hell out of her for the amount of number
Cool.
one hits that she has written. And I know
Mhm.
in the country music industry, you writing your own number one hit is really hard, but when you hit 12 or 14 or whatever she's done,
Yeah,
hats
yeah, of
off to
course,
you.
of course. I love country rock too. I'm huge BG fan, Brantley Gilbert, of course. I'm huge Morgan Wallen, Jason Aldean, Florida Georgia line, which they're not around anymore, but I do like Tyler Hubbard stuff. Stuff is
I thought they were trying to make a comeback.
I think that they're going to. I mean, I hope they do because they were great. You know what I mean? You
Well,
know,
that was they
I mean,
also wasn't it was like them and like the Dixie Chicks were all right in that time frame where they said the wrong thing at the wrong time. And
yeah,
everybody's like,
yeah, yeah. Well, look, I mean, like they did that. What was it Florida Georgia Line and Backstreet Boys, which is my wedding song. You know, I'm not a big Backstreet Boys fan, but my wife is. You know what I mean? But here's my thing: I still think they have great singing voices.
oh yeah, like there's
I respect their work, but God rest his soul. I'm sorry, Nick, and if you're watching this, really don't give a shit. Your brother Aaron kicks your ass.
he did seem to have way more talent with less domestic abuse charges.
Yeah, right. Oh
I
shit.
mean, he had his own demons and everything, but I will agree with you on that one. I do think Aaron had the more talent out of the two because
Yes.
the older one was just kind of he was the pretty face with like a
If
few
you really
short.
look, yeah, look at how I mean, like Backstreet Boys have been around for like a long time, but then you got, I mean, Aaron put that record out, the record that he put out before he passed, the Love record. And if you really look at it, he was real about what he was doing. He did it all himself. He mixed it, he produced it, he did everything himself.
Oh
And
yeah,
I give him that credit. And he's got an amazing voice. He had an amazing voice. You know what I mean? And not putting down what the Backstreet Boys have done, but
yeah. I
when
mean,
they did the track with the Florida Georgia Line guys, it's a really good track. Like those guys
it was
really
also something completely different at the time that people
out of
weren't.
left field, out of
Yeah,
left field.
weren't. It's kind of like and I hope I can find it at some point in time. Like Cradle of Filth keeps saying they did a song with Ed Sheeran,
With Ed Sheeran, yeah, I
And it's
know.
like,
I've heard that. I can't find it either. I can't believe that they did a track with Ed Sheeran, dude.
and
You
it's
know?
that's the one where like all the metalheads, it's like I think we've all kind of come together, and like Ed Sheeran's kind of one of the guys where it's like you're the nerdy dude and we like
Who
you.
likes
You're
Cradle of Filth? Really?
yeah, like you can come into the group. We accept you. Now we want you to
Dude,
see this.
did you see the podcast with Danny? Danny said that he walked into the studio with a Cradle of Filth hoodie on and an acoustic guitar.
Yeah, and
I was like, what?
yeah, like, and he's the one where it's like I just want to hear what they did. Like I want to, as a
It's
music.
crazy, man. But look, music is music, man. You know, and you either respect what a person's. You know, people step out of their genre. I mean, like I know death metal bands that listen to country music. You know,
Jonathan Davis, I think, was a prime example of it, where he goes, I don't listen to heavy metal because I play it all the time and I'm always at the shows and all I hear is this. I listen to, I think it was like techno and dubstep and things like that.
yes, yes, yeah, yeah. Well, Corpse Grinder, George Fisher, from Cannibal Corpse, is big country guy.
Huh.
So I mean, like, and you know, my old band, Dionysus of Sloth, played with Cannibal Corpse. So we played with Cannibal Corpse, we played with Suicide Silence, and I mean, like, you know, we got to talk to those guys, and hearing something like that was like, oh, okay, hey, that's cool, dude. You know what I mean? Like, so it, you know, just because you play a certain genre doesn't mean that you don't listen outside of your genre. Like with Incognito Theory, we're not purists. You know what I mean? Like we listen to everything.
Well, and I think that's how, and that's where you draw influence from, and because
you got to draw from everybody, man.
Well, like for writing lyrics and trying to get things to flow good, you listen to like R&B and certain rappers that you like, because they have those flows that you found that you're like, I really like how they put their words together and make everything flow together, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna take a note from their page and I'm gonna write how, you know, see how this works and with the music that we've got and get it to.
Well, like me and my cousin John, when we do our harmonies, the 2-part harmonies, I'm a baritone singer. Okay, my cousin John is a tenor. He's higher than me. So when you put us together, you get this melodic, I guess you would say angelic, we'll use that word, or epic sound.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird harmonic.
You got to listen to, like, you know what? I'll help you out here. When you have a minute, listen to Ride On and listen to the sections in it, and you'll see. You could tell the difference between myself and my cousin John. You can even listen to a track called The Cleansing, and you could hear it, especially in the ending part of the song. You can hear it because there's a piece by himself and there's a piece with me by myself, and then at the end it's me and him together, and it brings and builds the track. Oh, he's got it. He's wrote it down, huh?
Damn right, I'm writing this stuff down. It's one of the, and that's the cool thing. Like when you talk with bands and they're like, okay, if you want to hear something good, go check out this track. Or if you want to hear these different harmonics, or you hear these different ways of things are doing, you know, check out this track.
Our favorite track, our favorite one that me and him did is Set It Off. And there's a video for it. It's me and my cousin John, it's Mike LaPont, and it's Dave Crum, the guy pretty much these are the 4 guys that did Let the Fire Burn, the new single coming out. And, you know, that song was written, and this is realistic, like we write in the moment. Lyrically and musically, that song was written and recorded in 2.5 hours. The demo of it.
No going back and changing anything, or?
Nope. We just went in and tweaked a little bit here and there, and the song was done, and boom, and we released it, and everybody went crazy over it. So when you watch the video for it, what you hear there is what we put down, and it got mixed and mastered.
I think that's one of the, probably for musicians right there, that's probably the realest form, like the realest form you can get, where it's just messing around and suddenly it hits and it clicks with everybody. It's like, ooh, get in here, and you know.
Yeah. We just got, like, John and I got in there, put that together, and then Dave and Mike, we went to Steve's, and made a couple of fixes. You know, Dave wanted to get the correct solo and stuff like that, but the foundation of it was me,
solos are kind
John,
of
and Mike. We just went in and said, "Hey, let's just do this." And when that first thing hits, you know, you'll know right away. Like once the song kicks in, it starts off with drums, and then it goes right into, and that first vocal melody, like that was weird. Like, and I didn't plan that vocal melody that whole, you know, and the slowly burning out. I mean, I didn't plan that. It just happened. And the strange thing is that song was written for all the marijuana cultivators in the world, and I don't even smoke pot anymore. I just, you know, I looked at my cousin. I said, "Dude, I don't know where the hell this came from." And he says, "Well, you know, you did smoke a joint outside, you know." And I said, "Yeah." And I came in and said, "Hey, you know what? I feel like writing a song about, you know, why not?"
It works.
That's why it's called Set It Off.
Well, I mean, I got that right on, and the cleansing written down.
The cleansing you're gonna like.
On my
cleansing you're really gonna like. There's an amazing solo. The solo on that track is a dear friend of mine. I've known him a long time. Steve Bloodgood. He is also an amazing writer. You know, he was a part of IT for a while and from the beginning and all that stuff. And he just kind of, you know, he's, you know, doing his own thing now and everything like that. But Steve really put his heart and soul into that solo that you hear on The Cleansing. And I mean, like, you know, he had a lot to do with that, you know, helping us build that track and make it what it is. So, but vocally, that one and Ride On are very vocal driven songs. And we wanted to do that because we wanted to be different. You know, my cousin's a great singer too. So it was like, hey, bro, let's.
Well, and like you're saying, you're pulling stuff from like early 90s, like rock and grunge, and there's a lot of those bands that are very vocally driven. Not saying that the music wasn't good, but like you were like Scott Weiland being one of your influences.
Stone Temple Pilots is my all-time favorite 90s. They'll always be. I mean, even now, I love their new singer. He's really good.
Because that's the guy from used to be Filter, right?
No, the singer with them now, he was from X Factor. Remember X Factor on TV?
Oh, yeah.
Jeff Groot, I think his name is, if I'm not mistaken. He's killer, man. Like, I mean, and they're still doing shows and everything like that.
Yeah, I think they're coming actually through Nebraska. Either they've gone through here, or they're coming through. Like, I know I've seen some flyers for them coming through, and it kind of threw me off for a moment.
I didn't think I was going to really get into what they were doing, but I'll tell you what, his vocal style has come into his own, but he does have the edge and the swag like Scott.
He's one of the.
Look at let's take Queen. Let's take Queen. Look who the replacement for the mighty, you know, the master over there. You know, Freddie Mercury.
Yeah.
Who would have thought that they were going to bring in Adam Lambert to replace him? And Adam channels Freddie. If you really listen to what Adam does, his look, and of course, you know, we won't talk about other things, but Adam, yes, he does. And you know what? He does it well. And him being with Queen, he is doing an amazing job with them, and he's got a great voice, the guy. He really does. So
it's also one of those interesting things too, like when unfortunately certain members of bands pass away, and then they'll fill that person's spot. Sometimes they can't.
They need the right person. They need the right person.
Like I saw Pantera when they were doing their tribute run and like I knew that was the best version of Pantera I was gonna get. Because I started getting into metal like early 2000s, right when Pantera broke up, and then the tragedy happened, and
yes,
I got to miss out on it. But seeing that version, going, okay, I know this is not Pantera, but this is the best version of Pantera. So
it is.
I had my expectations and my hopes a little bit lower than. But it was, but like I've got.
But Nathan, look how they were when they first remember when they first started putting that tour together, they were not completely tight. And Phil said that they were not, you know, they practiced, but they weren't. But now, if you hear them now, when they went out and did the full tour with I'm on a March,
oh yeah,
they were tighter. They're tighter. Rex said it that they were very, very tight. You know, look at Drowning Pool, man. They lost Dave Williams, and look who they replaced him with.
Yeah,
Ryan Holmes and Soil.
I miss seeing them in Salina.
Yeah,
they played in Salina, and then like the next year, Dave passed, and I had to miss that show because I had to go to my cousin's graduation.
There's like so many bands that are like doing it. You know who's really cool? Like I was never a really huge Soil fan, but when you know, when they put out the first record, I was like, it's really good. Second record's really good. But then I found out who their bass player was and everything. Like that's Tim King, dude. Do you remember the death metal band Oppressor?
Yeah.
Do you know he's back doing extreme death metal now too? So he's doing Soil, and then he's got Embryonic Autopsy now, which is his new death metal band, and he still rips it like he did in Oppressor. He was the bass player and singer in Oppressor, and now he's the bass player and singer just the singer in Embryonic Autopsy, and he still sounds great. But Ryan stepping in for Dave when Dave passed away during the Ozfest tour, and he sounds amazing with Drowning Pool. He really does. Well, they had a couple different singers, but you know, Jason Gong was there. Like I'm like a typewriter, dude. I know so much about a lot of these musicians, but I just, you know, certain ones were just meant to do it. Ryan was meant to be the singer for Drowning Pool. You know, Adam was meant to be the singer for Queen. Well, you know, Jeffrey was definitely meant to take the spot for Scott when Scott passed. So
yeah, I feel that it's got to be the right time and the right place for those certain things to. Unfortunately, after the tragedy to happen, there's got to be that certain amount of time before that person.
I never thought that we were going to get a Pantera reunion. I never thought we were going to get that.
Oh no, neither did I.
You know, but I mean, like I guess Rita and Phil got talking and everything, and you know they managed to, you know.
And she signed off on it, and it was one of those like, okay.
Phil's a very different. Come on, Phil's all zenned out now, bro. He comes out on stage with no shoes on, dude, and he's just like, yeah, whatever, you know what I mean?
But he also sounds really good versus like when you saw like when he was in Superjoint and
the reinventing Anthem. Yep.
But like there's a couple bands that I've seen lately that have replaced vocalists and like Snot, one of my all-time favorite bands.
Yeah.
Got their new guy.
I like them too, man. I like them too. Snot was a great band too.
Oh yeah, and I went and saw them in Colorado, and I was running around with my Snot hoodie on last weekend at a show, and somebody's like, "Hey, what do you think of the new version of them?" And I was like, "You have to go see them."
What's your take on the Coal Chamber reunion, man? I'll tell you, man. Des coming back from doing Devil Driver to that dude, that was with the original.
Yeah.
And to have her. The girl, what's her name, Tatiana or whatever her name.
Not the first one, but the second one.
Yeah, she's a great bass player, dude. I mean, I think she brings a lot of flair above what Raina did.
I like I've always liked Coal Chamber. They've always been a great band. So like seeing them coming back is kind of like there's a lot of nostalgia bands that are coming back from
the 90s, late 90s, early 2000, yeah,
that are still. Like, I saw Edema, and they put on an incredible show, and super cool guys to hang out with.
Yeah. Edema's a great band, too, dude. I got into that stuff, too. Like, there's, like, so many... You know who just came back? And I thought that was crazy. Taproot. I was like, what?
Oh, yeah.
I was like, are you kidding me, dude?
They kind of spurred of the moment out of left field, and...
You never would have thought you were going to get... There's, like, so many that are starting to come back, you know, and really do
it's cool seeing people put aside the differences and the petty shit that they broke, and the petty reasons why they broke up.
Mudvayne was my big one, and I'm really, you know, of course, you know, Greg didn't get to do the 25-year reunion because of the death of his wife, God rest her soul, and everything. But to see Mudvayne get back together after the situation that happened with Hell Yeah,
the initial situation with Mudvayne.
Yeah, dude, at some point. we're going to get another Hell Yeah record. And you know who's going to be behind the kit. It's going to be that cat that played in, what's his name's band? Corey Taylor's band.
Oh,
what was the band? You know who I'm talking about, right?
From Stone Sour.
Stone Sour. It's going to be that drummer because he was the one that was filling in when he died. Roy Magoya?
Roy that's Magoya? The one, because he was also in Soulfly and
he's going to be the guy. Yep, and we're going to get we're definitely going to get a Hell Yeah reunion. I know at some point
if it happens and they get him, we called it on this interview.
Yes, we did, bro. which I hope. I would like to see a Hell Yeah reunion, but I mean, like, the Mudvayne, the new Mudvayne songs are really good too, dude. They're really.
I like them. I had a couple people that asked me about them, and I thought it was cool because they're like, "Well, doesn't it sound like Mudvayne?" I go, "But if you listen to it, it sounds like LD50, dude. But it still sounds like Mudvayne, but it doesn't have the LD50 Mudvayne, but it's got all the elements of Mudvayne, but it also showed a growth in them of they're not." You could only be an angry 20-year-old and an angry teenager for so long before.
I mean, Chad's what, 50? Chad's like 50 years old. Yeah, he can't, but he's still. I mean, I was surprised when they came out with the paint and everything and really went back to doing what they did. And I'm like, wow, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So I respect that.
Yeah, it's a cool thing to see. Like, I've been enjoying seeing these bands coming back and reuniting and doing their own things and making it. But yeah, we got about a minute left before it decides to boot us. So,
all right, but hey, look, man, like Incognito Theory's got the new single January 2nd, Curtian Call Records, Let the Fire Burn. Big shout out to my family at Curtian Call, my friends and everything. Thank you for having me on the show tonight.
No problem.
Like, and great conversation, man. I'm telling you, man. We got to do this again, dude. Absolutely.
Oh, maybe we'll have to do something right after couple weeks after the single drops and
absolutely. And then when you're ready to talk about my other stuff, man, I think you'll really enjoy the stuff that I'm doing with Demon Christ. I think you'll really that'll really put you.
Well, I mean, and also the cool thing too is like we can hook up and do interviews on these other ones too and have it as its own entity. So
yes, absolutely.
We'll definitely hit you up.
You have a wonderful night, brother. You be safe, all right?
You too, bro. It's good talking to you.
I'll talk to you. Good talking to you. Bye-bye.
Later.